My name is Kennedy Njeri. I am 28. I graduated from Texas A&M University with a Bachelor's of Science in Multidisciplinary Engineering Technology with an emphasis in mechatronics engineering. I currently work as a project engineer at Deputer Electrical Solution. I work for a company called DPPS, and it's an packaging solutions company. We are in the automation industry where we are helping companies transition from manual to automation. And how we do that, we help them. We use robots, program the robots to palletize items so that they can be shipped out on a truck. We also help out to make boxes, like in Amazon warehouses. They contract third companies so that they can make particular boxes for whatever order that comes in. If you need a shoe, they're not gonna send you a shoe with a box so big. My current role is a project engineer, and what a project engineer does, I am in charge of leading a group of technicians who do the electrical wiring of the cabinets. And what a cabinet is, that's where all the electrical components go in. I also program robots and make sure that the robots are going to pick up the parts that they need to pick up, what frequency, how fast they're gonna pick it up, where it's gonna place. So pick and place motion, I program that. Also, I do the controlling for the PLC. That's basically the brain of the whole operation. PLC is in charge of telling the robot there's a product available to be picked up on the conveyor, go pick it up and place it on this pallet at this angle and on this corner and use this approach to go there. So I program the robots, I program the PLC, and I guide the team of technicians to put everything together and make it a whole integrated system. My tasks at the company is like as a project engineer, we get a project from the customer and they tell us this is what they want us to do for them. And at the beginning of the project, we go talk to the customer, have a meeting, and go to their facility and see they want to replace manual. Like I'll give an example for animal feeds palletizing. They want to replace manual, someone physically going to fill the bags in animal feeds and then taking it and placing it in a pallet, and they want us to fill that void and make it more autonomous. So we have a discussion and talk to them and make sure that we know what they need. So the biggest question that we ask is why, and we have to ask, why do you want this? Why? As many whys as you can, and at the end of it you get a plan on what to do. Then we send out a proposal for what we can do on our part and what kind of robot that we're going to be using to achieve the task. So we tell them on the proposal, this is how many conveyors we're going to need, this is how many this is the robot that we're going to use, this is a controller that we're going to use, these are the photo eyes, all the sensors, safety scanners, everything that we need. And then if they approve it, they give us an initial investment on us to start placing the orders. And then whenever I go to the office, I'm able to see the items that came in that have been shipped. First things first is networking. So I build a network of getting to know, okay, I'm using this IP address to connect this robot to this controller. So they have to all be in the same network for them to be able to communicate to each other. A PLC uses IP address. A robot has its own IP address. Basically, IP addresses is like an address, a physical address that you send. Like if I'm gonna send you mail, I need your address to know where I'm gonna be sending this mail. I cannot just send it out and it's gonna go anywhere in space. So that's how they're able to communicate with each other. So I set up the network, make sure everything is working correctly. And then I have the electrical schematics drawn up. That's what I use to give the technicians, and they're able to plan out how the wiring is going to be on the physical world. And then also we do 3D designs on all the components that we have, just in case they want to look at, if the customer wants to look at the virtual, how everything in the cell is going to be set up. And then we start building the parts, putting everything together, do the programming of the robot first, and then do the programming of the PLC. And then after that, we do a lot of testing and debugging and getting rid of all the issues that arise. Because for example, you might start moving the robot and then you find out, oh, that bag is too heavy, the robot cannot lift that, or that's not the right angle. So that's how we do a lot of testing, debugging, making sure that everything is running the correct way. My work is pretty much a mixture of both hands-on and programming. So the technicians do the most of the electrical and wiring it together. And I do the computer part to know, okay, so this part goes here and this is where it's supposed to go. And I go and make sure that the connections are done the right way. So I'm in the shop, on the floor with everyone, making sure everything is getting connected right. If we don't connect it correctly, something might blow up, a fuse might burn, something like that. So I have to make sure that everything is connected correctly. And then after everything is set up and the project is done according to the customer specifications, the customer comes and does a customer visit, and they're able to look at what we've created in the warehouse, and they see, okay, so this is the conveyor that is going to be coming in through, this is how we're going to pick up the items, this is how we're going to palletize it, or this is how we're going to make this product that you want us to make. And then if they approve it, or if they want to make some more changes, they can change at that time. If they approve it, then it's good to go. We ship it to the customer site, and then we go to the customer site to commission it. So when you're at the customer site, you tweak it to where it's gonna fit into the current system that they have in the warehouse, in their warehouse, so everything goes smoothly to connect to everything else. So every time that we have a new customer, the robots are different depending on what application is going to be used. So we have small robots starting from 8 kilograms, 12 kilograms, 20 kilograms, 25, 35, depending on the application. And also the brands are different. So depending on the application, we have to sometimes build the software from scratch, or we could transfer some of the items, the basic items, from one project to another project. For the robot, the programming is different because the customer might have a different need. Like palletizing animal feeds is different from putting lids on a container. Like for example, we had a project where you're palletizing animal feeds and putting it in a pallet and stacking like 10 high. And then the next project that we had was having 2 conveyors on each side. One conveyor has a lid to a big pallet, a pallet to a bin. There's a big bin that has to be covered with a lid. So we programmed the robot to go pick up the lid and then place it on the bin so that no one has to do that manually, and it goes out of the cell. So those are 2 different applications. You cannot copy this program and put it in this program. But we have resources that help us achieve that much faster, and it's easy to learn. Whenever you have different examples, you can look, oh, so this is what was done on a previous project that is similar to that, and then you can just transfer it over. The skills that would be amazing to pick up while doing engineering, for example, is learn the basics, like what is a capacitor? What is a resistor? What do they do and how do they achieve that? One good skill that you could learn is how to solder. Also, you could learn how to program robots. Like in my role, you could learn how to, you could buy a small microcontroller from Amazon, like an Arduino or something from Texas Instrument, and have it connected to your computer, and you're learning, oh, so this is how programming works, and actually see it work. That's how you're gonna get your hands-on experience. Another good skill to have is 3D drawing, AutoCAD, and the basics. Communication is key because you're gonna be working in a team. So documentation, communication is key to telling your other team members, this is where we are and this is what we're gonna be doing the following week, and this is how we're gonna achieve it. Can you work on that? So those are some of the skills that I would probably put out there.